Hello, that was the theme from Berceuse from Dolly Opus 56 by Gabriel Faure. This is arranged by David Blackwell and is the B1 piece of the ABRSM Flute Grade 2 exam pieces from 2022. Right, let's have a look at the start of the piece. You will see the time signature says 2-4. 2 is number of counts in a beat, and 4 refers to how long each count of those is, and this time 4 meaning it's a crotchet, so we're counting 2 crotchets in a bar. The second thing you notice is the F sharp, which is your key signature. Now, if you look through the rest of the piece, there are no further accidentals. This means that this piece is in G major. Let's have a look at the F sharp first. On our left hand, we have thumb, first finger, second finger, and third finger. And on our right hand, our fourth finger and our pinky. So here's the F sharp. Note that this is the only F sharp we need to play in this piece. If you're not familiar with the G major, you should definitely check it out and know it because it is part of your grade 2 syllabus. You're required to play up to a 12, which is the high D. And that high D is going to be the highest note of our piece as well. So our high D is thumb, second finger and third finger on our left hand. Right hand is just the pinky. Now bear in mind this is different to the middle D that we'll be playing, which the same on the left hand, but the right hand we have first, second and third finger but without the pinky. So here's a demo of the G major. If you have a look at the speed, you will notice that it says allegretto moderato, crotchet equals 63. Now allegretto means at a brisk speed. Moderato means a medium speed. So in combination we are going mediumly fast. If you play crotchet equals 63, we'll get this kind of speed, which sounds a bit slow, but we'll be counting in quavers, then that's what most of this song is in. So it will become this speed. It's about double. And this is about what we're thinking of when we're thinking of a mediumly fast pace. So here's a demo. So this is the kind of speed we're aiming for when we're playing in the exam. The last thing you notice is dolce written underneath bar 3 next to the piano. This means playing in a tender, adoring manner, so we are going to play very sweet, everything very smooth and nice. Right, that was a general look at the piece. Now let's look at the structure of the piece. Now this piece is in ABAC form, or we can call it a modified ABA form with the ending. We define each section by the 2 starting notes of each section, and each section has 2 phrases. If we look at the start of the piece, we will see 2 D notes, and this is defining the start of our A section. So here is from bar 3 to bar 10, our A section. We'll see then on bar 11 we have 2 A's, so this is the start of our B section. So the B section goes from bar 11 up until bar 18. And then on bar 19 we see the 2 D's again, so we're back into the A section. And then we see 2 G's coming up on bar 27, so this is our ending phrase, ending section. So that was a look into the structure of the piece. Now let's do a deep dive in the technical aspects. Let's have a look at the start of the piece, where we see in the first bar we see a black line strike through the bar, and then you have number 2 written on top. This means that we have a 2-bar rest. We are listening for the piano for the first 2 bars and then coming in on the 3rd bar. So here is the piano on the first 2 bars. So you can hear that melody, ba-la-ba-la-bum, repeated twice. So on the 3rd time we're going to come in with the piano. So here is a demo of how we're coming in. So once you hear the piano start playing, maybe on the 2nd time, you can start taking in that breath that you need for the whole phrase. Let's have a look at the rhythm from the first phrase. This is very important to get right because the whole piece is essentially based off of this rhythm. There's not much changes to the rhythm other than towards the end, so it's very important to get this right. So let's have a look at bar 3 to bar 6, where we get a crotchet, so that's 2 quaver counts. Remember, we're counting in quavers in this piece. And then we have a crotchet tied to a quaver on the next bar, so that is 3 quaver counts. And then we have 7 quavers, which are all slurred, and then we have a crotchet and slurred to a quaver. So here is the metronome, and then we're going to clap the rhythm. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So that's the rhythm. Let's hear it playing in action. I'm going to play the first phrase. Now, because the tonguing is also very similar throughout the piece, I'm also going to tackle it here as well. So we need to tongue after the tied quaver, and then before and after the 7 quavers as well. So of course you're not taking breaths here, I've just exaggerated that whole phrase. Now have a look at bar 6. Now, because there is the hardest note on this piece, which is the low D, we're going from a G on to the D. If you are struggling to get the D note out, you can rotate your flute a little bit just towards yourself, and that should help you get the D out. Now, that was the first phrase. The second phrase is very similar. We have the same rhythm, just slightly different notes. In bar 9 we have a G octave jump. So that actually helps us because we have a crescendo in bar 9 and then a decrescendo back in bar 10. So here is from bar 8. We can use that octave jump to help us get the loudest point, and then we can start decrescendoing back again. Onto the B melody, where we are starting on an A note. You will also notice that we are in MP at the moment, mezzo piano. We are slightly louder than we were in piano in the A section. To create contrast, what we can do is we can tighten our lip and blow slightly less air through the A section. And then when we get to the B section on the MP, we can loosen our lips and then blow a bit more air. So here's a contrast on the starting notes on P and on MP. The higher register also helps us getting a louder perspective in volume as well. Now, the first B melody is very similar to the first A melody, except we're starting on A as we said before. The second B melody has a different shape. Instead of going down after the 2 repeating notes, we're going up, and then we're going to do steps down in thirds. We also have a crescendo from bar 16 to 17, and then we're going to come back down with a decrescendo on bar 18, coming down to piano on the second A section. So here's a demo from bar 15 to bar 18. So you notice the last note is no longer a quaver. We don't have that quaver rest to help us breathe anymore. But we still need to take that quick breath because we still want to play the whole phrase in one breath on the A section. Now, in notes terms, the final A section is exactly the same as the first A section we've played, just we are now in different dynamics. The second phrase is now in MP instead of P, and the crescendo and decrescendo is still exactly the same. Now when we get to the final section on bar 27, we have a slightly different rhythm. The key bit is that we still have the crotchet and then the crotchet tied to a quaver, but then we just have 3 quavers and then we're going to repeat that again. So with the metronome, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So that's the main difference. We're going to repeat this rhythm 3 times until we get to the end. So here's a demo of that from bar 27. Now, you notice written crest underneath bar 27, that means crescendo, so we're increasing our volume. What we're doing is we're going from MP, we're increasing our volume, and then you see on bar 31 we have the crescendo as well, so we're also increasing our volume up until we get to bar 31 on a forte. Now it's quite hard to get from MP to F in one breath all the way, so we're going to take a breath on bar 30 after the G note. This has to be a very quick breath. What this helps us not only is the crescendo and the forte, but also that octave jump onto the high D notes. So remember the 2 D notes, we have different fingerings. And after that high D note, you are going to get a diminuendo, which is written down in bar 32. So we are going to gradually reduce our volume all the way back to the P at the end, and you'll also see poco poco rit. Now because we're slowing down and we're reducing our volume, we might need to take another breath, and you can take that after the high D note. So you notice I didn't immediately reduce my volume, but I waited a little bit after the sustained the F, maybe a couple notes into the quavers, and then I'm using the quavers and the minimums to help me reduce my volume. What I'm doing is, as I'm getting closer to those, I'm increasingly tightening my lip and reducing the airflow. And that's the end of the piece. Well, that was the deep dive into the B1 piece, the theme from Berceuse, from Dolly Opus 56 by Gabriel Faure, as arranged by David Blackwell. I think this is a very nice expressive piece. The rhythm isn't too difficult, but to get this piece to the maximum potential, we really need the dynamics and smoothness in your playing, so you need good breathe control and good embouchure control. Hopefully that was useful to you. I'll be putting up the rest of the pieces soon for grade 2. Give a like and subscribe if you like what I did here. Put a comment down there if you've got your own tips and tricks to share with other viewers, or if you want me to go over anything specific that I've missed. I'll see you next time in the next video of Master of None. Bye!